Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. As well as if preparing your food on a weekly basis is your primary excuse for why you're not able to stay on a good, clean eating program, which is something that I hear very regularly from my clients, I would ask you to please take the time to check out Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com. They are a phenomenal place. We get our food from there during the week. They deliver to our Integrity location. They will deliver to your house. They also are just available for pickup. You can go to their Chesterfield location or their Kirkwood location and just pick up meals for the day, as well as just having them delivered right to your door. So if preparing your food is your main excuse for why you cannot stay on a healthy eating program, then I would suggest just stop by Pure Plates. Just try it. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you're trying to get your blood sugar down, try to do Pure Plates meals for a week and just see how different you feel. These are organic meals. They are gluten-free. If you need them to be, they can be dairy-free. They are soy-free. You're not taking any processed sugars or meat-curing agents or preservatives. They really, truly believe in nutrient-dense meals that are just whole food nutrition. And I've had my clients, or I've made recommendations for my clients for years at Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com, or you can call them to ask questions at 636-778-3555. Again, remembering that they have a location in Chesterfield as well as in Kirkwood that you can just run by and pick up a meal today. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. to go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup or you can have it delivered to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Hey everybody, this is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Happy to have you with us this week. As you guys know that have been with us before, we like to start the show off by talking about what it means to be a warrior, and I always give the definition of a warrior, and that's a brave or experienced soldier or fighter. And there's a lot of ors in there, which we love because it means there's opportunities to be a warrior. And so a lot of people might wake up and think they're not one, but you don't have to be brave. You just have to be experienced, and you don't have to be a soldier, so you don't got to be a part of the army, but you do just have to have been through a thing or two. Well, that makes you a warrior. And so what that means is, what does it mean to be a warrior? Like, are you going to go grab a sword and fight the people you don't like? I mean, that'd be nice sometimes. You think that might settle some stuff, but no, you can't do that.
We have swords.
Because it's been like 600 or 700 years since you were allowed to do that. But, if you have to battle through life, anything that you're taking on, health issues, financial issues, family issues, friend issues, all of these things, you can take it on. And if it's the toughest thing that you've ever taken on in your life, remember there's another time, multiple other times that you've said that. And here you are, which means you've overcome. So we always like to get a little bit more in depth about that. And I know Deb's got something on her heart she wants to talk about today. So Deb, I'm just going to throw it over to you.
Great. I created the concept of our Warrior podcast and named it the Warrior Podcast because we've had to be a warrior. My husband and I, we've had no choice but to either fold and be weak or just put the armor on and choose to be strong on a daily basis. And we counsel people daily. We work with people daily, and we give them that choice. And we try to represent strength, and we try to represent tenacity and perseverance and consistency. And when people come into our facility and we say the word warrior and they see the armor of God right as they walk in the door, and they see the warrior t-shirts and they see the warrior sign, the whole reason for that is because when they walk in, we want them to feel the presence of strength. And even though they are feeling weak, we want them to feel that it's possible that no matter what the difficulty is that they're going through, that they can handle it and with strength and with grace, and that God will give them all that they need to be able to get through it. And so what we try to do on the show is, our first segment we try to talk about, was there a client that went through a circumstance? Did we go through a circumstance? Like, how did we get through our week as a warrior? How did we handle, our current life circumstances as a warrior? And I just want to go through a small list of, ways or reasons that would cause you to be a warrior, or that things that maybe make you a warrior and you don't even realize it. These are things that you're doing every day, but maybe you don't have someone speaking into you that you are strong or that you are a warrior. Maybe you're actually feeling really weak right now because you are going through these things. But I just want to highlight and help you to understand that those are actually the things that are allowing you to be a warrior. Those are actually the things that are determining that you are the warrior. And the first one is believing in the unseen, living in a fallen world that truly does not serve God or serve faith, but only serves flesh and serves man, and yet still believing in something that you have not ever seen before. I know I can tell you I've seen the presence of the Lord in my life in many, many ways, but at the end of the day, he hasn't walked right in front of me and said, hey, well done, good and faithful servant. I won't see that until I get to heaven. But that makes you a warrior. The fact that you choose to wake up every single day and stay committed to faith, to stay committed to Christ, and to serve him in everything you do, that actually makes you a warrior. The other thing is continuing, even when no one supports you. And not only is no one supporting you, but you have people coming against you. So knowing the cause, knowing the vision, knowing what you're serving, knowing what God's shown you, and that's different for all of us. For us, it's strength training, it's nutrition, and that's our ministry, and that's how we change lives. But for you, it might be painting houses, it might be fixing computers, it might be construction, it might be healthcare. I don't know what your mission is, I don't know what your vision is, but I know God gave it to you, and I also know that you've had to continue, you've had to persevere, even when no one was supporting you. And that might be no one at work is supporting you, none of the leadership is supporting you, the government might not be supporting you, your family, your spouse, they may not be supporting you, your closest friends may have turned their backs on you. That's what makes you a warrior, is that you continue to persevere even though you're under trial. Being willing to be different and yet staying confident even though you're different, and not giving in because everyone else around you isn't anything like you. Like this extra mile thing that I do it because I want to be strong. I want to think about strength every day. I want to be committed to strength. And I cannot tell you the amount of people that talk about overtraining and say, well, if you're training every day, are you sure that's not overtraining? Maybe it is in your mind, but it isn't for me, because God's training me and he's equipping me for something bigger. And if that's not what he's doing for you, that's okay. You don't have to do it. But for me, I remain confident because I see the vision. I know the mission, and I'm serving that every day. And it's all based around the Word of God. And that's where I get my guide. That's where my compass lies, okay? But you continuing to be confident, even though you're different, you're unique, and there are no other people like you, and the things you're doing, your restrictive eating and staying on your diet when everyone else around you isn't, and not drinking and not turning into the flesh on a regular basis like everyone else is suggesting, this makes you a warrior. Being willing to stand alone, even if it means doing, in order to do the right thing, to make the right thing happen, you might have to stand alone. I cannot tell you the amount of times in my life when I have felt alone, okay, in a room full of people. And that's because I had to stand up in front of those people, and I had to present what was right. And sometimes that is a hard message to present when you know it's a group of people that don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear that certain foods are killing them. They don't want to hear their lack of movement is the reason why they're depressed. They don't want to hear that drink that they're drinking is the reason why they're anxious every day. But sometimes you have to be willing to stand alone, and you have to be willing to stand in front of everybody alone in order to stand for something. And God will reward that, and he'll reward that with the lives that you change because of your message. If you have the confidence and the commitment and the strength to actually stand alone in front of those people, God will honor that. So that makes you a warrior, that you're willing to stand alone. And finally, staying committed even when nothing appears to be working. You're doing the diet. You're doing the strength training. You're doing the cardio. You're meeting with a nutrition coach. You're meeting with a personal trainer. What is wrong with your body? What is happening? I don't know, but we're going to find another person. We're going to keep working. We're going to find a chiropractor. We're going to find a doctor. We're going to find a functional medicine practitioner. We're going to find people that can run your blood. They can run your urine. They can run your saliva. They can check your stool. We are going to keep fighting for it for you. And I know it doesn't seem like anything's changing, but if you revert back and you stop eating clean and you stop exercising and you stop reading the Bible and you stop doing all the positive things for your mind, it is going to change, and it's going to change for the worse. And so it makes you a warrior, that you're willing to stay committed even though you can't check all the boxes just yet. I can't even tell you how many years that I dealt with inflammation. I dealt with swelling. And people thought that I ate donuts when I ate nothing. I barely ate anything. And then finally figuring out different things that were wrong with my body and recognizing that's why I was inflamed. You can't give up. You have to fight. You got to keep fighting for one more answer and one more doctor and one more solution. The only true way to fail in any of these endeavors is if you make the decision to give up and to quit. And when you make that decision to give up and quit, you're not fighting like a warrior. You're surrendering. And so I ask you to get your sword, to get your shield, and to shield up and to get prepared for the fight, because life is not easy. It will never be easy. And anything worth accomplishing in your life will never be received the easy way. The easy way doesn't pay well. I hope that this helps you all. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Debbie just kind of talked a lot about what it means to be a warrior, perseverance, and just not giving up on whatever you're fighting through in your life. And, you know, it's interesting where we find our drive. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. And everybody, you know, it's like beaten to death. Like, what is your why? Like, is your why strong enough? What is your why? And so I've been thinking a lot lately about, instead of saying, what is your why, maybe we should say, what is your why not? And what I mean by that is, if you have something you know you want, you have something you know you want to accomplish, you have something that you've been thinking about for a really long time, or you just need out of the situation you're in, why not try? You know, if you're sitting around, you're like, well, my why is that I want to do it for my family, or I want to do it for myself, or, you know, I just really want to get a promotion, and it's not driving you. Well, why is it not driving you? Do you think it's going to be too hard to work? Do you think that you're not capable? Do you think that you're not going to have enough time? And if those are the cases, sit down and write them down. And if you can diffuse all of those reasons logically, then you probably ought to just go ahead and do it. And why you're doing it will flush itself out. You know, why you're doing it for your family, you're doing it for God, you're doing it because it's a call and purpose on your life. But you got to break through your why nots, because they're excuses and they're lies. And they're put into your head by the enemy to convince you that you can't do something in the form of greatness that you're called to. And so you breach that, and now all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I can do this, and I can be this person for my family. And I'll give you an example. I've been humbled over especially the last decade, and there's been a lot of things that have caused me to change who I am as a person. And today I got up this morning, and Deb could attest to this. In fact, most of my staff could attest to this. I historically was not a morning person. And it's no secret that I used to be a rage-filled monster. And I got up actually a little bit later than normal. I've been getting up early and getting to the gym about an hour early, and, you know, reading my Bible or praying over the gym and just relaxing, waiting to start my day. I used to basically get to work with 47 seconds before my first client and starting with a panic attack. So today I got up a little bit later. I knew that leaving on time, I was still going to get to the gym about 10 minutes early, which is obviously an hour late for me. But I was moving okay. Everything was fine. And I'm sitting in my car, and I go to get my stuff out of the car, and I backhand my coffee, and I spill about 14 ounces of coffee just all over my passenger seat. It's on my book, my schedule book. My schedule book pages are all crinkled, wrinkled, and turned brown. It's literally seeping into my seat where the air-conditioned seats come from, and I can just see it going down in there. And I'm like, oh, good. We're going to have coffee with coconut milk with protein smell for the next however long coming out of there. And in the past, I may have punched my windshield out or flipped my car or, something that would have been bad. And so this time I just sat and looked at it. And so I got out and I shook my head. I went inside. I got some towels. I got a spray bottle. I came back out. I sprayed, and I still got to my client about a minute late, but I told him what was going on. Why am I telling you this story? Well, I decided to be a warrior in that moment because I decided to not let it ruin my day and cause me not to fight the fights I was supposed to fight today. I could have sat there and I could have got pissed off and I could have got distracted and I could have started my day off really, really angry. And I would have missed what it was I was supposed to be doing. So it wasn't about my why today. I didn't sit there and say, well, I need to not flip my car because it's going to cost me money. That would be a why. My why not was, why can I not go to work and just be okay with this? Why can I not just clean this up and be done with it? Like, I could spend the next 3 hours or 12 hours being pissed off about this. I could hurt my knuckles by hitting something. I mean, I've done that more times than I can count. Or I could go inside and I could get a towel and I could get a spray bottle and I could be done in time to start with my client and just continue the rest of my day. So my why nots actually outweighed my why. It actually caused me to say, like, it's really no big deal. I'm just going to get in there and do this versus like, people's lives need to be changed. And those are all my whys, but historically they would not have been enough to cause me to not be pissed off. So whatever it is that you're fighting, if you can't get yourself to do it, if you just keep looping on knowing you want to do something, knowing that it needs to be done, knowing that you probably can accomplish it, but you're just not doing it, diffuse it step by step, work backward to move forward. One final example, and I want you to talk a little bit about this too, Deb, as we go into the next segment, is I'm starting a men's group, and our whole goal is to create men that are strong in Christ, and we're going to train you mind, body, and spirit. You can see it on our social media. It's going to start with an hour workout right into an hour of Bible study that we're going to do together. We're going to talk about the men of the Bible and how messed up they are, and how no matter where you are in life, you're accepted and forgiven too, and how to get strong enough to do that. We're going to work out. Then we're going to end up going to my jiu-jitsu school, and we're going to do some ground fighting at some point as a group. It doesn't matter what your experience is. Don't think, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, that's the whole point. We're going to teach you. There's going to be a lot of strength in that. I've waited 1.5 years to do this. And finally, about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, my wife was like, can I ask you something without you getting mad? I'm like, oh gosh, here we go. What is this? And so she says, you are one of the greatest executors I've ever met. Anything you do, you just hammer it and get it done. Why does it take you so long to start things? And I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't have an answer to that. My why of wanting to do it is I felt it put on my heart by God to help guys. And it's going to help me too. Like iron sharpens iron. We need to get stronger together. We need to come together and just be the type of men God's called us to be. Those are all really strong whys. But my why not was what? Because I didn't think I could do it. I didn't know that if I had time, I just wasn't doing it. And my wife helped breach that for me. And so I hope you have someone in your life that you can tell what you need to do to, or what you want to do that can help you. But if you don't, maybe you need to sit down and just unwind it by yourself. Maybe you need to sit down and just look at all these things that you want to accomplish that you're not. Because at the end of your life, you're not going to sit down and lay in your deathbed and say, man, I really, love that I didn't accomplish all of the things that I wanted to accomplish. I'm so glad I did nothing with my life. You're not going to do that. You're going to lay there and you're going to think, man, I'm glad I did everything I needed and wanted to do. Or you're going to think, I hate that I didn't do these things. I wanted them so badly and I was capable and I just never did it. So work yourself backwards from that.
Absolutely. You want to just pick a date. Like in your case, I just said, just pick the date. All you have to do is just pick the date.
Right.
Once you pick the date,
the rest flew.
The rest just happened. Someone put together a flyer for you. Someone started posting it for you. People started to sign up. All you had to do is pick the date. So if you're sitting there lingering and not getting something done, something that God's called you to do, just pick the date. Just put 1 foot forward and get started. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208 to schedule a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Kind of absorbed that last segment talking about just picking out what your whys and why nots are so that you can actually accomplish what it is that you need to be accomplishing with your life. And I just want to talk about when you acknowledge something or you say something and it sounds really strong, but then you don't back it up. And I hear this a lot, and this comes a lot out of men, and you hear women say it too, but men for sure. And that's that they would die for their family. They would die for their loved ones. You know, like, I will die for you. And that's a super common thing that you hear. And I always think about that. Like, what does that mean? Like, you will die of old age for your family? You will die of a sickness for your family? I believe that if you're going to say, I would die for my family, I would die for you, that means that you would do so in a non-natural cause. Maybe a burglar is trying to break into the house and you're saying, I would die for you. I'd take that fight. I'd take a bullet for you. But what is that even, like, how do you show that? Because I believe that works outweigh words. And the way to show someone sincerely that you would die for them is actually to live for them. So what are you doing for them in life to prove that? Like, if you tell me you're going to die for me, the way I would believe you, instead of like you claiming that one day you'll take a bullet for me, which is probably not going to happen, is you're going to help me with things without me having to ask you. You're going to show up when I need you somewhere. Maybe I don't even know that I need the assistance and you just show. If I ask you for something, you just without a doubt, you're there. You've got my back. You're not telling me you have my back. You've got my back. So if you're telling your family, I'd die for you, I got you, like, are you eating for them? Are you eating clean so you can be around for your wife and kids? Are you eating clean so you could be around to meet your grandkids? Are you working out so that you can continue to do the things as a part of your household that you should be able to do? Are you paying attention to your rest and recovery so that you can continue to go to work and be a part of your household? This is how you show somebody that you're going to die for them. You live for them. And then if you don't know what you're living for, then, I mean, it starts to look like, what's the point? Well, there is a point. That's why you have a family. That's why you have a job. That's why you have all that you have. And if you're spinning your wheels on that, you need to pray. You need to think about, like, God, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? And how am I supposed to move forward with that? Because I'm not seeing it on my own. But regardless, what are you doing to show somebody that you would die for them? Like, how are you living right now? Are you even living? Because there's a way to start that fire. You just start showing up. You know, you just start the exercise. You just start eating clean. You just start being attentive. You just put your phone down. You quit scrolling. You get into a conversation with your spouse. You get into a conversation with your children, and you just become present in your life and start trying to produce the person that you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I think, like, I was in a business meeting not that long ago, and then I also felt like this got duplicated in a couple of my nutrition sessions. But in one of the business meetings, I had someone say, well, you know, I wish I could, but I can't be like you, Debbie. You're just a super disciplined person, and you're super committed to your eating. And I definitely wish I could be at that level.
Yeah.
But I just can't. And so, like, I'm just sitting there like, okay, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you probably have 5,000 more employees than me. Okay. If you really want to know my reason for doing it, yes, I have an autoimmune disease. Yes, I can be, very sick in a hurry if I eat the wrong foods. But I know a lot of people with that, and they still eat all the wrong
Yeah,
foods.
that's always an interesting conversation.
But my biggest reason is my responsibility, number one, to the Lord and just the influence that I have for the kingdom. But number two, I have a family that relies on me, and they rely on me to go to work and to do a great job. I have a team of trainers and a team of employees at 2 different businesses that rely on me. If I'm forgetful, if I'm a flake, if I'm not showing up to work because I'm laying in bed, if I'm just walking around foggy and bogged down and just feeling really bad all the time, never recognizing, never being sharp, never being detailed, am I serving any of those people? Not at all. And they depend on me so much. And if I'm not on my A game, then my business is not on its A game. It is not okay. It is not okay. It requires me to do my best. And I do my best because all of those people deserve to have me doing my best because they rely on me.
Right.
And so I'm looking at this person who I know has probably not 5,000 employees, but probably easily 500 employees. I'm just thinking to myself, you actually should be doing it more than me because you actually have more than me that you are responsible for. And then I had the same exact thing happen with a person, a couple people that met with me for one-on-one nutrition and said, I know you do this in this manner, but I just don't have it in me to do it at that level. I'm not asking you to do it the way I do it. I've never asked anyone on the planet to eat the way I eat. And B, I can't afford to not do it this way. I have too many people depending on me. And those people just looked at me like, oh, okay. I said, I don't have a single day out of the week that I can afford to not feel good.
Right.
I get up early every single day, even on Saturday and Sunday. I don't have a single day where I can't be available to give it 100%. And so what day can I afford to drink alcohol and eat bad food and wake up the next day and not feel okay?
Yeah, I mean,
what day out of the week can I do that?
I mean, I'll take it back to the why nots. Why are you telling her that you can't? Like, I know you can, but I just can't. I mean, really break that down. Because you have a strong why. You want to do it because you want to feel good, right? Like you want to feel well. You want to be there for your family. Why are your why nots outweighing that? What are they? You don't have time. You need to stress eat.
You don't have energy.
You don't have energy.
You don't feel like it.
I mean, a lot of these are actually corrected by eating clean and exercising.
That's the thing. What's the reason you don't have energy? What's the reason you don't feel good?
But the other things, like you don't have time, listen, where there's a will, there's a way. You can figure it out. I know that's tough love, like, oh, no, John, your situation's different than mine. Yeah, well, I had a heart attack because I was 100 pounds overweight. You think I don't like food? You think I don't like stress eat? You think that I don't think on a regular basis about wanting to consume stuff that I know is bad for me? I had a heart attack because I was fat. That's a doctor's words, not mine. Okay? So I'm here to tell you, if you're going to try to tell me that you can't do it because you like food too much, listen, I get it. You can't do it because you're hurt. I'm sitting here right now with a 9 out of 10 in my back pain, and I'm not trying to give you a woe is me story, okay? And I'm also not trying to one-up you. But what I'm telling you is if I can do it, I am nobody special. You can do it too, okay? So quit sitting around and saying that you can't. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. So quit saying you can't do something. Like, don't even put that out into words. And if you're going to look at someone like Debbie and say, yeah, well, you get sick. Like, so I know that you do it, but that's because you have an autoimmune condition. Yeah. Well, then you should be more likely to do it because her situation's worse. So, like, why wouldn't you be more likely to pull it off? And then I've even had someone go as far as to tell me that they wish they had Debbie's condition because then maybe they would be more likely to do their food. And I almost lost my mind. I'm like, first off, you've never seen behind the closed doors of how much pain, suffering, and trouble she goes through on a daily basis. And second off, you have no idea how hard it is for her to eat as clean as she does. She wants to have these things. At some point in her life, she has drank wine. At some point in her life, she's eaten pizza. Like, you think that she doesn't remember how much she liked those things? It's like people are so quick to write off somebody who does something better than them as having a legitimate reason to be better. And it's nonsense. You're going to blame her problem as to being your problem to why you're not as good. Well, if I was that sick too, well, guess what? You are that sick. You're walking around in a brain fog. You're walking around 100 pounds overweight. You're at risk of diabetes and cardiac issues. You can't breathe. You are tired all the time. You sit around and loop on not having enough energy to move on to the next phase of your life. Well, guess what? You're feeding that. So when you say that you're not as sick or you have to, she doesn't have to. She could sit around and be just as sick as you. Would she be sicker? Sure. But in a different way? Sure. But she would still be able to, quote unquote, pull it off the way you're pulling it off. So quit saying that somebody has it easier than you, or even if they don't have it easier than you, they have to where you don't have to. It's weak and it's a way out.
I also think that if you continue to commit to speaking that you're not a disciplined person, like if the dialogue is regularly, I wish I was as disciplined as you. I'm just simply not a disciplined person. Once I get started, I never stay committed. I always quit after 20 pounds, or I always do this, or I always do that. Stop always doing things. Stop committing yourself to always being that person. Stop writing that narrative. You have literally written bylaws that this is who you are and this is how you fail. Just because you've done that in the past doesn't mean you have to do it moving forward. And so whatever is what it was from the past, that is what it was then, okay? We don't have to look back. There's zero reason why we have to continue to look back for anything. The only way we move forward in our life is by pressing forward and by looking forward. We can learn from the mistakes of the past, but we don't have to keep looking back. And if you continue to declare yourself unsuccessful, undisciplined, unhealthy, if you continue to magnify those areas, that is all you will ever live in. Your body will just stay stuck. Your mind will just stay stuck. And maybe you haven't had someone communicate to you that the depression could lift, or that the anxiety could improve, or that the immune system could improve if you changed your food. I'm here to tell you it can. And you have to be willing to go through some difficult times, some dark times, some hungry times, some cravings, just a lot of different changes in order to get to that place. But remember that first segment? It was all about being a warrior, and it was all about having the mental toughness and the strength to be able to endure hardship as a soldier, and you're strong enough for that. So I challenge you, change the narrative, change the dialogue. Don't speak it out of your mouth anymore. Don't talk about your failures. Talk about the way you're going to press on, the way you're going to move forward, and the strength that you're going to have. You can talk about what you've endured in the past, but stop talking about what you're not and start talking about what you're going to be and will come. For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with a 6-month nutrition program or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. This is John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems on Real Talk 93.3. Been talking quite a bit about just being who you're meant to be and staying on point and being focused and trying to put yourself in a position where your whys are strong enough to do what it is that you're supposed to be doing, and you're just not going to give up and not making excuses. You know, like that's a large part of what we do for a living. And I just feel like we live in an era of excuses. And what's sad is not only are the excuses more prevalent, but their acceptance is. So a lot of the problem with the world today is that we accept all of these attributes that, you know, it's like I could almost be canceled for even say the word our weakness. Like, oh my gosh, you can't call people weak. Well, guess what? Like if you aren't willing to do something, you're not willing to put it in. I'm not talking about trying and failing. I'm talking about not being willing to do it. That's a pretty weak mindset, you know, and it's just one of those things where it's like there's so many people that will tell you like, oh, come on. Like, what do you mean you can't eat pizza twice a week? What do you mean you can't? It's just a couple beers. Like what? You can't go out each weekend? Like you're going to let someone else tell you what to do? Like, come on, you know. The world is accepting all of this, or like, well, I just keep failing on this. And it's like, that's okay. Like, it's all right. Here's a participation ribbon. And don't let anybody tell you that you didn't get it done or that you didn't do a good job because, you know, you did. Well, guess what? Those people get out into real world situations and they fail, and they don't know why, because they haven't been set up to be successful. And it's getting really bad in our younger generations. And the problem is, not only is that being allowed to happen, but addictions are starting at 2 years old now. We're seeing it in food. Listen, when you talk about the way God designed our brains to enjoy the things that we do on a daily basis, there is actual neurology, chemical alteration in the brain that is designed by God to be positive for us. It's designed to cause us to adrenalize, to take on problems that we need to take on. It's all intelligent. What has happened is society has figured out how to trigger these responses. It's in our food. These chemicals are in our food. They're triggering a dopamine response that makes you want to go eat the wrong food. It's in scrolling. It's in TikTok. It's in Instagram shorts. The algorithm is your drug dealer, okay? The algorithm has figured out what you like to get high on, and it is shipping it to you. So when you talk about being successful, a lot of the reason people drive to be successful, a common reason, is the dopamine response of success. When you get your business up and running and you hit your first $1 million, dopamine response, success. When you play a sport and you train really long and hard and you win the grand championship, dopamine response, success. In jiu-jitsu, I love rolling. Okay, and I love when I win, and I love when I get the submission, the choke. Same thing, dopamine. We're talking about enjoyment here. Here's the thing. That dopamine response is the exact same as that 14-second video that you like, that you can swap to the next one for another 14-second. And if you don't like it, you can swipe right past. So why in the world would you go get rolled around on the ground, sweat, be out of breath, and potentially get choked yourself? Why in the world would you put in a bunch of work and effort to get good at something to just potentially have payoff at the end? Why would you do this? Because you're neurologically already addicted to scrolling. People are giving their children iPads as pacifiers, and so they're in this position where they don't even know how to work hard because the reward is no longer worth it. Here's the problem. Nobody's going to lay on their deathbed and say, man, I wish I would have scrolled more Instagram. No one's going to lay on their deathbed and say, gosh, darn it, I just didn't get enough YouTube shorts in. What happens is you get the dopamine response, but you go through life so high that you end up missing life and not accomplishing anything. You might as well be strung out on heroin. You're doing it with your food. You're doing it with your scrolling. You're doing it with drinking, and you are letting life pass you by. Well, no, John, I'm not letting life pass me by. I only spend 6 hours a day scrolling. And I say that kind of jokingly, but this is what happens. They make apps that you can put on your phone that tell you how long you spend in another app. You want to blow your mind? Install it. You want to blow your mind? Uninstall Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube from your phone. Give yourself 7 days and count how many times you pull your phone out in the bathroom, at a traffic stop, sitting down on your car, between pages of what you have to do at work, between scrolls. You count how many times you pull that out, and you tell me you're not addicted to it. Okay?
This is kind of interesting because I stay so busy. If it were my choice, I personally, and this is not anything against anyone because I love all the people I get to communicate with on social media, I personally would not have social media because I just don't like the distraction. I'd much rather, I'd just much rather be doing something else. I don't like to scroll the news feed. I just like to go out, check my messages, check my notifications, reply back to someone and have dialogue through a post or have dialogue through messages, right? For the topics, right? Well, there is a girl that is a really good friend of mine. I consider her a very dear friend. And we're both very busy people, right? So a lot of times the way we communicate is success memes. I'll send her, I don't know if it'd be called a meme. I don't know. What are they called? I mean, whatever.
Meme is the picture, the little videos is the short. Yeah.
So one's about success and about working hard and about, being triumphant, overcoming, right? Or just funny stuff, funny stuff about like, I don't know, someone messed with my best friend and I did this, kind of thing.
Right.
Just sending these things, right? Actually feel distanced from my friend who I love very much, and we truly don't need to be, in constant contact with each other. But when we were finally communicating, I could tell there was sort of some distance between us because I haven't sent her a picture in weeks. I just haven't. I haven't had any time. I'm not looking at any form of shorts. I'm not looking at news feed. And it wasn't like I woke up one day and said, I'm not going to do this. I just simply have not had any time to be able to do it. And I've been fighting a battle on something so that we can win. I mean, we've been at war with something. So, and I'm refusing to give up because I know there's victory at the end of it. So there's no time for it. Like I need to be listening to Ed Milet. I need to be listening to pastors. I need to be listening to sermons. I need to be listening to the Bible online. I need to be listening to books about what I've done. I cannot look at shorts. I cannot look at these things.
Right.
And what's interesting is I truly almost feel a slight distancing from that person because our form of communication has been blocked. And the thing is if you don't have the strength to stop these things on your own, like if you don't have an account, like I was like, I got to go to war. So I got to stop this stuff. But if you're the type of person that still does it, you're not spending time with your family, you're blocking things in your business because this is where your time is going, you need to hire someone.
Right. You
need to hire a coach. You need to hire a health coach. You need to hire a workout coach if you can't seem to get yourself into the gym. You need to hire a nutrition coach if you can't get yourself on the right food. You've got to quit trying to figure out how to do it yourself because it's not working. You're not doing it. If you need accountability, you need to get accountability. If you need advice, you need to get advice. You need to have someone that will guide you through a process and give you shortcuts and show you ways of doing things that will make you more dynamic. You don't have to try to figure it out alone.
Correct.
And you'll be better because of it.
I just think that it's very easy to fall into that trap, like we said, where society accepts something, so it makes it okay for you to do. And so it's very simple to just put yourself in a position where you're like, well, everybody scrolls. Everybody sends memes. But then things get weird. It's like our daughter. I tell her, I'm like, I don't want her to have a phone yet. I don't want her to have a constant stream of like you are supposed to have time away from people. You're supposed to have time where you're not looking at your phone like they haven't responded to me yet. Like wonder if something's wrong. This constant contact and the stuff that gets sent, like we're not meant to have that level of contact. We're not meant to feel like we always have to send someone something and get a response back. Talking to memes, there's a meme where it shows this guy and he's like really ticked off looking. And it was like me when my friend notices that when I noticed that I sent my friend 100 memes and he only liked 99 of them. It's like, that's a lot. Like there's a lot of this stuff, and it's like, that's okay. If you can ration it and spend a little bit of time and you can get away from it, great. But a lot of people can't do that. And so you need to really take a look at if it's something you should be spending your time on.
For more information on what we do at Integrity Training Systems with a 6-month nutrition program or a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call at 636-299-2208. For gluten-free, dairy-free baked goods delivered to your door from my personal bakery, take a look at sophiesbakery.com. And for 100% grass-fed beef, the only meat that the Morris family will eat, take a look at fedfromthefarm.com. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless.